Hello everybody and welcome to yet another Beating the Self series. I don't exactly have any sort of funny title for this one that I know of because I'm going to be straight honest, I'm not a Granblue type guy in terms of Granblue itself, and nor am I really a Granblue versus player either. So I had a few complications with trying to figure out how this series is going to work. I do not own all of the characters yet, as you'll see in a second. We are playing, of course, if you're not familiar with my Beating the Self series, it's essentially a mirror match in which I fight a CPU on the hardest setting, which for this game should be Nightmare. And we have it already just, tied to Nightmare, so that's what that's going to be at. We at least need to win 2 matches out of however many matches it takes. Usually I have a set time limit for like at least 20 minutes. If I can't win 2 matches within like 25 minutes, then I just call it a failed video and try again. Usually for these videos, I like to have sometimes like very specific pattern of like who am I picking, who am I playing first, like whether it be mains or whether it be the main heroine, hero, villain, whatever, whoever it could be first up. But this one's kind of a weird series. But I do think that it's not really a bad idea to just start with Gran first. We'll start with Gran most likely first, and then I'll just do probably Jita right after. And then after Jita, we'll probably go back and maybe play Gran EX. Or I can wait like another bit, because I'm going to count the EX characters as something slightly different. I'm not really sure, and by the way, once again, I am not a true Granblue Fantasy Versus player. So this is definitely one of those things where I do not know every aspect of the combo system. I understand that the triangle circle, whatever it's called, again, you can do in the corner, and that usually extends combos. I thought that would actually extend combos regardless of where you're at on the map, but I'm not sure if that's true. And then also it kind of works like a burst mechanic. But either way, yeah. I'll be doing most likely inputs, motion inputs and stuff, so we'll see how this. Let's just get into this. Most likely what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably just do Gran and then Jita, like I said, and then probably just work on most likely probably just whatever character at that point I feel like doing. I thought about doing mains, but the only problem is because I'm kind of a little bit, well, once again, I'm also quite rusty when it comes to this game too. That's also another problem I suffer from, is just being, completely bad. Well, just sort of forgetting, most of what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's, yeah, I already fucked that up. That's great. Off to a great start. It'll take me a bit. Gran's not exactly hard. I mean, I have done a few matches already with characters to see if I can actually, basically to gauge if this is even something possible for me to do. But the first problem I ran into is, since this is Rising, I ended up giving myself just a new main. Not that I, don't play the old main from the original Versus, but I did kind of just give up or not like. See, now I sound like a dickhead when I put it that way. I didn't give up on the character. I still play the character from time to time. It's not like I just switch mains like every 5 seconds or something. I'm talking about like when this game came out, I wanted to try out a different character because I felt like, well, it's a different game. It's mostly just a different game. It feels like a different game. So why not just at least pretend, even for a second, that I should be allowed to play somebody different and learn a completely different character. So in the original Granblue Versus, we'll get to that character when we get to them, probably in the third fight, who knows. I might just do that then. I keep doing Z motion like an idiot. I should have practiced more. This is a bad video, but we'll see what happens. I've noticed like usually the CPU in this does not like to block lows very often, so I may have a chance. Of course. But we'll see. And sometimes they don't even block raw supers, so that also does help. And raw supers do usually pretty good damage. I mean, they're not damage scaled, so that's usually why. I know Gran is, like, the basic character of the game, along with Jita. Like, he's definitely one of the ones where it's like, yeah, he is literally pretty much the Ryu. You got your Ryu and your Ken type, so this should not be extremely difficult to do. But anyway, so speaking about mains, my main back then on the original Granblue Versus was actually Charlotta, of all things. I noticed that there was a character, because I didn't really play Granblue, so I had to go basically pick a character I thought looked neat, or at least played in a really cool way, and that was the character I picked. Because I wanted to try something a little different for once. I was like, oh, she's a charge character, that sounds fun, and then I picked her up and played her. And then the rest is history. Well, okay. Well, actually, she was... Okay. So, yes, she was my first Granblue Rising... Or Granblue Versus character, yes. But when Rising came out, I did switch. And this is a weird one. I felt like if I'm going to switch, I have to find somebody that would probably fit my style or just look cool. Or whatever. And oddly enough, I ended up landing on Nier, of all people. So, I'm sure someone's going to be like, oh, dear God... He's going to completely trash that character. He's going to suck complete balls. And I'll tell you this right now, I probably will. But I'm going to try my best to probably maybe practice her instead. Before we actually play the character. I'll just try my best to do a few practice matches and relearn the combo setup. Because she's not extremely, like, too hard, but... I'm sure most likely the CPU will not be nice to me and oh my god. I need to start, okay, it's just like Dragon Ball FighterZ where I really have to start putting in the effort of using my meter. Also, I forget what it's called, but the triangle circle move thing, the thing where I keep doing like the cross-up thing, that move takes up, I think, 25% bar to use. Another thing, too, is like I should probably just be blocking more often because this is basically... At the time, I think this was... I'm pretty sure this came out before Strive. This was, Arxis's, for fuck's sake, I'm so bad. If I have to restart over completely from whatever and do it and come back a different day, then that's fine. I don't really care. Also, I know that Rising added sprint moves, which I like, actually. I think that was a good addition to the game. I played Versus for a bit, thought it was neat, and that was really about it. And then after that, I just kind of, not really, I wouldn't say despised the game, just more so didn't really care for it. So, then Rising came out, and I was like, alright, fine, I'll give it another shot. Can you guys prove to me that you can make a much better game? And then they did, and I was like, oh, okay, well... I think it's probably because, like, at the time, I got used to Strive. So, coming to this game, I was like, okay, this game's okay. And I think that's probably what did it in for me, was like, I don't really care much for Strive, to be completely fair with you guys, but, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. And of course. It's crazy how even that one goes to, like, an X variant. Like, I can still iframe through the X variant of that. That's crazy. Alright, that's one win on my side. At least the game, you know, tells me that, which is nice. But yeah, so... Okay, how did that work? But yeah, I used to play Charlotta, and, I'm not going to talk about much about... I guess, past Granblue things too much, because it just brings back horrid memories that I'd rather just forget that ever happened. One thing I can bring up, which I guess you could say probably would be a horrid memory, was the fact that when I was playing online at first, because that's what ruined the game for me, was I was playing online, and I got completely demoted, like, as soon as I got out of, like, C rank or whatever, just got completely fucked in the ass, and just said, you know what, I don't care for this game anymore, this game pisses me off. It's just like cross-tag in the way where it makes me viscerally angry to play now. And I don't really like to play fighting games online much anymore, except for like maybe a few. Because I know that for a fact, it might seem weird, but I am definitely the type to get a little bit more ragey for no complete reason. And that's something I'm trying to like trying not to get myself to do, is get ragey. You know, I'm trying to stay away from the rage-inducing stuff. So, like, I can play Tekken online and usually just be okay and not get too angry. It depends, I guess. It depends on, like, what's going on. But that's usually why I end up playing more casual, local playing with friends and what have you instead. And that way we're at least potentially somewhat on equal footing, and I can just have my fun, and we can just dick around and just play for the sake of it, rather than just try to pretend like we're at Evo or something, you know. God, there's actually a dodge in this game. I forget which button it was though, or a combination of buttons, whichever, because this game does have like hotkey things. So, all right, well, that's 2 wins. There's no like, oh, best 2 out of 3. There's none of that. It's just mostly just win 2 actual games and then just move on. But that's Gran. So anyway, that's it for the first video. Next up will be Jita. We'll get her going, and then I'll probably just say screw it, whatever. I'll play Charlotta. But for Nier though, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit before I play her. But I can do Charlotta. But Nier gives me some tough time. And then I think like after the first 2, I'm just gonna say who cares? Play whoever. It doesn't matter. So yep. This will probably most likely be uploaded while Dragon Ball is getting uploaded. So that whole spoiler of like, oh, am I gonna do it or not between Dragon Ball or not? Well, there you go. It's gonna happen. So that's it. And yeah, take care, everybody.